Hello, hello, hello. It's Dr. Rowe here. I hope you're well, having a great day. I've got a great image behind me of this young lady presenting. And in this situation, she looks like she's presenting in maybe a work environment. She's got quite a creative board up there and she's obviously illustrating various things. The question that's come in is, Dr. Rowe, how to present. Now, this is really around the subject of public speaking. And the question often people say to me is, have you got any tips on how to present? That is such a broad question that there is no simple black and white answer to it. So I'm going to throw some questions back at you, and hopefully in listening to this, you'll be able to go, that's a good point, Ashley. Hadn't thought about that, because the answer to that question or those questions will lead you to hopefully an answer to how to present in that specific situation. Okay, so there's 4 things I want you to consider. Let me pull these up for you to have a look at. They're on the screen now. Hopefully it hasn't blocked off this lovely lady here who's writing. I think it's somewhere down there on the screen. So my first question is this. If you said to me, well, how to present, Dr. O, in this situation, I'm going to ask the question, what is the content? If you said to me the content is incredibly detailed, it's very mathematically based, it's very fact-driven, it's a presentation I'm giving where I have to literally splurge out information to a group of people, then that style of delivery is most likely going to yield itself to a PowerPoint presentation. What she's doing there could work, but where there's a lot of detailed information involved, you need slides to emphasize the key points, the key pieces of information or the facts and figures you need to get across. And it might be, I would suggest you have a handout or something in front of them. So as they're looking at the slide, some of them might be like, I can't read that slide there. You go, no worries, it's on page 14 there. And then you can walk through that way. So the style of approach would very much be, and in my CWI system, we have 38 components. If you've followed the system at all, you'll know we have these 38. In fact, let me show you here. Actually, I can do it very quickly because I happen to have the manual from one of our live events. So these 38 components, without going into lots of detail, around the outside here, one of the components on this side refers to the style of presentation, of which there's 4 styles. We'll come to that in a minute. So when you're delivering a content like that, very factual, you want to be in a messenger mode, very factual approach. On the other hand, it might be that the content is very personal. You're presenting to a small group of people. It's a different type of presentation altogether. It's more intimate. It's maybe more relating to things that are more softer in terms of the subject. They're not so hard-edged, not so facts, but it means they need to consider. So how to present under those situations is I would definitely soften it down. You don't need a slide projector, but you might want to have a microphone. Or you might want to decide to sit on a stool and you're talking like this. It might be a charity event and you're presenting there. And so you need a mixture of the empathetic delivery as well as the factual information delivery, where you might need to have some slides or something to influence it. Because we can talk, I've done this before at charities where you're communicating in such a way that you've got a very strong emotional message going out. And to back up that message, you need facts and figures where people go, and you shock people and they go, wow. And you get that engagement, which we talk about in our CWI system, where people are leaning forward saying, I didn't know that. And sometimes it needs a visual, like a photograph or slides or a spreadsheet or some factual data or something that grabs their attention. So again, the content and what you're ultimately trying to get across does ultimately affect the style of delivery, which comes to number 2. What is the style you're going to go in with? Are you going to be relaxed? I'm here, I've just dropped into the office. I'm not wearing a suit or anything. Had this been a more formal meeting or formal presentation, yes, I might have dropped on my suit, possibly put a tie on, maybe not. So there's the style in terms of how you look. Is the intention here to come across in a relaxed way? Is it to come across in a formal way? Is it to come across in a very authoritative way? So decide on what that is for you and what you want them to feel when they're listening to you, how you want them to walk away and what the impact of your message is. And then you talk into that space. And of course, then there's the 4 styles I talk about, which is the commander, the messenger, the empathizer, and the vulnerable. And those different styles of delivery are essential. Most people are one-dimensional and they're just delivering one style. In fact, if you've been coming to my web classes where I do these free web classes, and they're literally just content web classes. So that's it. There's no promotion, nothing. And I'll often do interventions and I'll do some coaching with people there. And a recent one we did where the lady that was sharing with us, actually her style of delivery was very factual and she wasn't engaging people. So that makes a big difference. And then of course there's the outcome. What do you mean by the outcome? Well, I mean, you can go into a talk and have too many directions. You're taking the listener in and they get confused. So how should I present, or how to present as a public speaker? Well, what is the outcome you're looking to achieve? Are you wanting to persuade them to give money to charity? Are you just wanting to get them clear on an idea that you're presenting? Do you want to sell them on something? Do you want to sell them on a product? Do you want to sell them on you? Buy into me, engage my services. Is it a board and you want to sell them an idea that you've come up with the company? So whatever the outcome is, that will affect the ultimate type of presentation. Relaxed, more formal, more impactful, very big, visual. You're on a big stage. You want to motivate people. Have a think about that. Okay, so what's the ultimate outcome? And you need to match and marry all the styles and the approach to that outcome. You know, you can't go in very relaxed and casual if you're trying to formally raise money with a bank and it has to be very structured with security and lawyers checking everything. Then you've got to go in with a very different approach. And then finally, how are you going to get impact with your visual and your vocal presentation? So think about, you know, if I'm sat down here now, let's just pull the camera down a minute. If I'm sat down on a chair with you, my arms across, I'm relaxed, I'm chatting to you, that might have a very different impact to if visually I'm stood back here and I'm moving my hands around a lot and I'm saying to you, right, okay, on this side here, look at that slide there, and I'm walking across and I'm talking to one group over there, and I'm walking across and I'm talking to another group over there, and then I'm stood in the middle. When I talk about this in the CWI live events that we do, we talk about spatial anchors. You know, we do this online a lot. We get people to stand in a different position. I can talk to you about a very specific message here and then move to another place and have a different type of message. Every time I stand here, I have one message. Every time I have a different message. So it's the vocality, it's the visual. How am I using my hands? How do I want to be perceived? And possibly visually what's behind me. Do I have slides, etc., to add to what I'm saying? So this is a very good starting point for all of you. Hopefully this is useful. Go away and smash it. Next time you give a presentation, ask yourself those 4 questions and it will definitely change the way you present and the style that you use. Dr. Rowe, signing out. Oh, by the way, don't forget to follow us, to like us, to subscribe to whether it's the YouTube, the Instagram or the Facebook page. And I hope to see you on one of my up and coming web classes.